let's just dive right into this explainer, because today we're taking some cold, hard, clinical science and completely dismantling some of the biggest myths out there about dietary fats. If you've ever found yourself standing in the grocery aisle totally confused about fats, what to eat, what to avoid, or if you even need them at all, well, you are in exactly the right place.
You know, for years, we've been practically conditioned by diet trends to fear fats. Remember the era of fat-free everything? Fat-free yogurt, fat-free cookies? We were basically taught to treat lipids like public enemy number one. But, as we're about to see, certain fats aren't just okay to have. They're actually fundamental building materials for life. You literally cannot function without them.
Here's a fact that absolutely blows people's minds. When you look at the big three macronutrients, proteins, fats, and carbs, carbohydrates are actually the only ones you do not strictly need to survive. Your body can adapt, but a diet entirely devoid of fat? No way. That would literally be fatal. Here is our quick roadmap for today's explainer. 1. The misunderstood macronutrient. 2. The 2 essential fats. 3. Understanding EPA and DHA. 4. Signs of fat deficiency. And 5. Optimizing your daily intake. All right, let's jump straight into section 1, the misunderstood macronutrient. Let's break this down biochemically. In nutrition, the word essential simply means your body cannot manufacture it. Now, your body is incredibly smart. It can make a lot of different fats out of proteins or carbs, but it physically cannot insert double bonds beyond certain positions in a fatty acid chain, meaning these specific negatively charged lipid molecules must come exclusively from your food. It's like a puzzle piece you literally have to swallow to complete the picture.
The crucial takeaway here is that without these essential building blocks, everything breaks down. We're talking about the structural cell membranes of every single cell in your body. They power your brain, they maintain your skin's barrier, which, by the way, is your immune system's very first line of defense, and they regulate inflammation and hormones. Without them, your entire cellular system would just fall apart.
Moving right along to section 2, the 2 essential fats. It really boils down to this brilliant biological dichotomy. On one side, we have linoleic acid, or LA, and omega-6. This is your builder, handling structural growth, the skin barrier, and acting as a vital precursor. On the flip side, we have alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA, and omega-3. This one helps with cell structure too, but its main gig is driving anti-inflammatory processes and cardiovascular support. And here's the crazy part. Every other fatty acid in the omega-3 and 6 families is derived from just these 2 true essentials.
Okay, to really grasp how these fats pull the strings in your body, we have to talk about eicosanoids. Think of these as microscopic, short-lived, localized hormones derived from your omega-6s. They rapidly orchestrate your body's on-the-ground responses. Get a paper cut? Eicosanoids turn on the local immune response, regulate your blood pressure, and manage clotting. They are incredibly powerful little messengers.
Up next, section 3, understanding EPA and DHA.
Now here is a biological reality that trips a lot of people up. Say you eat a handful of walnuts to get your plant-based ALA. Your body tries to convert that into the highly important EPA and DHA fats. But human biochemistry is notoriously inefficient at this specific conversion. So if you're relying totally on plant sources alone, you're almost certainly going to fall short on EPA and DHA.
And honestly, you definitely do not want to fall short here. Even though EPA and DHA aren't technically essential since your body can make tiny amounts, they are absolute must-haves for thriving. EPA is basically your cardiovascular shield. It lowers triglycerides and fights inflammation. DHA is your master architectural fat. It's heavily concentrated in your brain tissue and retinas, and it's absolutely crucial for fetal development and healthy aging.
All right, section 4, signs of fat deficiency.
0. Yep, that's roughly the number of healthy people eating a modern diet who actually suffer from a true essential fatty acid deficiency. It is incredibly rare. Because these fats are just everywhere in our food supply, a true deficiency really only pops up in extreme clinical scenarios like severe malnutrition, specific malabsorption syndromes, or dangerously strict low-fat diets. But on the rare occasion a deficiency does occur, the clinical signs are deeply systemic. We're talking dry, scaly skin, dermatitis, wounds that just won't heal, and hair that changes thickness or just falls out. In kids, it causes a heartbreaking condition known as failure to thrive, where growth literally stalls. It really proves just how desperately your body relies on these exact lipids.
Let's bring it all together in section 5,
optimizing your daily intake. So, practically speaking, where should you actually get these fats? Well, for your omega-6 LA, go for nuts, seeds, sunflower oil, and poultry. For your plant-based omega-3 ALA, flax seeds, chia seeds, and walnuts are fantastic. And to bypass that clunky conversion process for EPA and DHA, fatty marine fish like salmon and mackerel or an algae supplement are your absolute best bets. You see, sticking to whole foods easily covers all your biological bases without overcomplicating things. Now, we absolutely have to tackle a massive internet myth here. You've probably seen the headlines screaming that omega-6 seed oils are toxic. We need to dismantle that right now. As we've established, omega-6 fats are physiologically mandatory for human life. The actual issue with modern diets isn't the linoleic acid itself. It's the sheer volume of ultra-processed foods we eat, combined with a super low marine omega-3 intake and just way too many total calories. Let's focus on the real culprits, right?
Because when you actually get this dietary balance dialed in, cutting the processed junk and boosting those marine omega-3s, you optimize your entire system. You're protecting your heart by lowering triglycerides, you're building long-term cognition and brain health with DHA, you're speeding up your exercise recovery by dropping inflammation, and you're keeping your skin barrier beautifully hydrated. It is a systemic win.
It really all comes back to this simple truth. Total diet pattern matters a lot more than anything else that you do. If you use fats wisely and get them mostly from whole foods, you're aligning with the ultimate clinical reality. Holistic, big-picture dietary patterns will always outperform isolated, single-ingredient panic.
So, I'll leave you with this provocative thought. The next time you hear a headline demonizing an entire macronutrient, ask yourself, are you thinking in dietary patterns or just reacting to the noise? Fats aren't your enemy. They're the literal foundation of life. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope it cleared up the signs for you, and I'll catch you in the next one.